Hi Paul, it's Mr. Songer, and this is a video for you to work on a couple different things. I'm going to talk about when you should know when you can talk and not talk and play and not play during band rehearsal. And then I want to show you a bunch of different percussion instruments, some that you've played before and some that you haven't, and just give you a quick lesson on how to play them so that you know how to do them during band. So first thing I wanted to just talk about is knowing when to talk and not talk. It's really important that when I am talking in the band room and the rest of the band is being quiet, no one's playing, no one's talking, that you don't talk either. Because when you talk, then nobody can understand what I'm saying because it's too loud. So just like right now, as I'm talking to you on this video, you see me right now, I'm looking at you and I'm talking. You need to be quiet during that time and also listen to what I'm saying and let everyone else listen as well. And then same thing goes for when we play instruments too. And you're actually really good at this with Todd's help. You've been great last year. So I hold this thing called a baton in my hand, and this is how you know when to start and stop. And so when I'm standing up on the podium in the front of the room and I'm waving my baton around like this, that's when you play. And then when I put my hands down and put the baton down and I start talking, then you don't play. And then there's other times when I might say, I just want the flutes to play. And so then the kids who play the flute, they're playing. And usually when I'm doing that, I'm looking right at them and I'm going like this. But you'll notice if you're listening that only the flutes are playing, and that means that you don't play. Okay, so that's really important. And then there are other times too that whoever's back with you, the adult that's back with you, will be showing you signs of when to stop and when to go. And you follow those signs and they will let you know, okay, this is when you stop. This is when you start, okay? But the really most important thing I can say, just to recap this, is that you play when I'm waving my baton and you hear everyone else playing. And then when I'm not doing that, you don't play and you definitely don't talk. I think that's the biggest thing I'd like you to work on, Paul, is not talking when I'm up in front talking to the rest of the band. Okay, number two, I want to show you some instruments today, tell you what they are, and just tell you a little bit of how to play them so that you get an experience playing a bunch of different percussion instruments. So the first one is the shaker. Looks like an egg, and they're different colors. This one's green. And when I shake, I just hold it in my hands like this, usually between my fingers and my thumb, and I just go back and forth, like towards me and away from me, like this. And you try to do it at a steady beat. So keep it at the same beat, like that. So that's called the shaker. Another instrument that's similar to a shaker is a maraca. A maraca looks like this. A maraca has a bunch of beads inside here, so when I shake the maraca, you hear it doing kind of the same thing that the shaker does, okay? And same thing, you shake it out away from you and back in towards you. So that's called the maraca. This instrument is called a cabasa. A cabasa, you hold it with one hand right down here, and the other hand rubs these beads back and forth. And again, you try to keep it going the same speed, just like that. So that's called the cabasa. Another instrument is called the wood block. And with a wood block, you play it with a drumstick. And you hold the wood block in one hand, and then you hit it with the drumstick. And you try to go at an even speed. Don't speed up, don't slow down. So that's called the wood block. Another instrument that you hit together are these two black rods called claves. With claves, you take one in one hand and just hold it steady, and then you take the other one and you hit it against it. So those are called claves. Another instrument you play with a drumstick is called the cowbell. And you hold the cowbell in your hand like this, and then you hit the end of the cowbell with a drumstick. Again, keeping an even speed. So it's called the cowbell. Another one, these are called the finger cymbals. They're little tiny cymbals that you hit together, and you just go like this. Okay, so those are called the finger cymbals. Very cool instrument. This is called a tambourine. On the tambourine, you grab it with one hand like this, and then you hit your other hand against it. There's a second way to play a tambourine where you just take your one hand that's holding it and shake it. And sometimes you do both of them at the same time. Okay, so a couple different ways to play the tambourine. I got two more for you. This is called the triangle because it looks like a triangle. And you hold it with this string right up here. And then you play it with this thing called a triangle beater. And you just strike it against the side of the triangle. And one more. This is called the flexitone. The flexitone, you play with a drumstick. And it's got, sorry, not a flexitone. I'm sorry, Paul. This is called the agogo bells. The agogo bells have a small bell and a big bell. And you can play them alternating. Or you can just play on one. Like that. Notice I'm kind of holding it up here at the top. Okay. So those are the agogo bells. Okay. So Paul, I'm hoping to have you play a lot of these instruments here this year and watch this video so you can kind of get used to how you play each one. Thanks.